Hey guys, welcome to the channel if you're new here. I'm all about the unknown, the supernatural. I was born with the ability to see through the darkness. I've had many visitors since I was a young girl. And back in November 2020 is when I first began to see what I believe are extraterrestrials. There's no doubt in my mind. I've also seen many different types of extraterrestrials, even humanoids, okay? One particular race, the Lyrans. Now, when I looked into this, because I didn't know who or what they were, I just knew they looked human, but they weren't human, because this part right here, you see that little dip? It's split open. And that's when I realized, oh my God, this is not a human. This is not us, The night that I was taken onto their craft, me and my oldest son, I honestly thought it was a dream because when I woke up, of course, I'm in my bed. But most people that experience ET abduction, like I'd say 99% of them wake up back where they were at when they first went to sleep. 1% of the stories that I've seen online, some claim that they woke up naked laying in their backyard or somewhere other than where they laid down. So I'm going to tell that story because I get tired of telling the same story over and over again. I know a lot of people are new coming in, following me. So this is, why not make a video? That way I can always say, hey, if you want to hear that story, head over there. My details never change because this really happened to me. If you've been with me since 2022, you guys know that nothing ever changes. I'm not making this up. It's not script. I have enough video and pictures to show something that doesn't look normal. So let's get to the story. August 2022. I lay down that night. We all headed back to our bedrooms around midnight. So I just remember like really being tired. Like all of a sudden I needed to lay down and go to sleep. I believe that was them. Put it literally, because I didn't take anything. And like it was just like this sedation just hit me like, oh my God, if I don't lay down, I'm going to fall asleep sitting up. I remember looking at the clock. It was about 1, somewhere around there. I just remember going to sleep, you guys, in my bed. I wake up and I was standing, but I wasn't standing. I did not feel my feet touch the ground. And I don't remember anything like, I don't remember hanging. So I don't know, I was propped up on something. And my head was down like this. And I felt like, it almost felt like a hangover, but not from alcohol. Not like the biggest dose of sleeping meds, and you're you're waking up from that. Almost like if you've ever had surgery and you wake up from that anesthesia, kind of like that. And I'm slowly coming to it, and it was like, I'm slowly lifting my head up, like, what the hell? And just barely getting my eyes open, and in front of me, off to the right, I see my oldest son standing there, and his back is to me. Okay, so he's facing forward. And so I see him, and then that's why I was like, what the hell? Where are we? And I look around the room, and it was a small room. It couldn't have been no bigger than maybe a 12 by 12, if not slightly bigger than that. I remember the first time I described it, I said it was like the walls were painted silver or they were hanging foil. It was like a metallic room. That's why I was like, what is this? I told myself, I must be dreaming. And then I spoke to my son finally. I said, how are you in my dream? And he turned his head, like kind of like looking back at me. He goes, duh, because we're having the same dream. He swears up and down, you guys. He goes, Mom, I wouldn't even say nothing like that. He believes they like cloned him or something and put him there to provide comfort for me, but I can prove that he was there. And we'll get to that. He was there. So I'm like, oh. And then boom, just like it was like boom. I don't remember leaving the room. I don't remember something coming in and getting me. All of a sudden, I'm in like the middle of this ship. I knew I was on a craft, you guys. I knew I was, and the place felt familiar. I wouldn't say home, but it had such a homey vibe to it. But I've been there before, and I was like in the center of it. It was a walkway straight, straight ahead, and it was like circled. This round object that I was inside, and it had levels to it. I remember looking up, and I seen a railing, and I saw people up there. I believe it had 3 floors. Well, on the ground, the floor that I was on, this side to the left of me, there was a chair, a little end table with a lamp, a soft light, and then a love seat. And it was like that in every row, in every aisle. On the right side of me, it was like this long table, like a computer table. But 3 people could sit, no, 4. It looked like 4 chairs could sit there. I think it was chairs there. And at the end of the table was a desktop computer. And it was like that in every aisle. Well, halfway through, like there was nobody down there except, so I'm following 2 women, okay? But on the right side of me, I remember halfway down, as we were walking down this aisle, there were 2 women. One was young. She looked like she might have been 16, 17. And then she was sitting at the computer typing. And then the woman behind her standing, she looked like she might have been no older than 40. All the ones that I saw on that ship, this craft, nobody looked like they were older than 40. So this is the part when I look at them, I don't remember hearing a voice tell me this. You can look, but do not stare. It's like it was just planted into my mind. I don't remember hearing nobody tell me. So I'm looking at them because I'm trying to figure out where am I at? What is this? At this point, I'm thinking the government came and got me and my boys and we're at this testing lab because we've been exposed to ETs. Because we are really having ET encounters, y'all. So this is my thought. This is the government. When I'm looking at the two young ladies, they ended up looking away. And when they looked away, it just, I turned back because I was walking. I never stopped. I never stopped. And by the time I looked away, I had lined up with them. Okay. So now my focus is back on the 2 women that are in front of me. And I noticed the way they moved, that like they were walking. They were athletic built. But their knees. I remember seeing that, and I was like, around the knee area. It just, I don't know. I didn't know what to think of it. It looked different. It didn't look like how we're built, but they still look like humans to me at this point. The hair color. I want to say I saw like a reddish brown. Yeah, and I thought I saw like some blonde highlights. Not on all of them, but they didn't all have the same hair color. But it was around that color, okay? So long story short, where the walkway dead ends, and the wall that was at the end, it slanted like this. Here's the wall, and it's slanted. So we're almost approaching the end of this little pathway we're walking. And I see like, hey, it's like coming down like this. The air there was like a low musk, no, not musk, like a musty smell. And I could tell they had like some type of air generator, like it was trying to recycle the air or purify the air. The air felt thick. And it wasn't no fresh air. I remember feeling that, like, what is that smell? That was them. So we're walking. I see the heads coming down. Okay. So they come off. It's a group of men. And when I looked up, I did see a black person. I saw a black man up there. So they're not all, I wouldn't even call them white. They had an orange, they looked like they were tan looking color, like an orange tint to them. But I did see a black person. I saw this man, he was black. Okay, and he had a lion look to him. And it's crazy because that's another story. But when I was 12 years old, I had ran away from my mother because she was freaking out on me. And I was cutting through alleys. It was late at night. And this guy pulls up in a van and he's speaking so kind and sweet. And I've always been able to read people. And I was hiding. And I came out of the hiding where I was hiding at. He was parked under this light. And when I came out and I saw his face, y'all, he looked like a damn lion. And he was black with a jerry curl. So that dude I saw up there on the second floor, that's who he reminded me of. And so anyway, so the group of men came, and the two women, they spoke to the men, and all of the men walked away except for one. He was the only one I saw there that had facial hair. He had, like the beard, the mustache, all that good stuff. And he had like a reddish brown hair color, but with the blonde highlights. And I don't remember seeing their mouth move like that. It was weird, you guys. And they gave me something, because let me tell you something. From that room where they had me at, and I forgot this part to say earlier, and where they brought me out to, I ain't never felt so good in my life. It was like the best cup of, you know how like on a morning you wake up and you just feel real bright, and you got that great cup of coffee that just gives you that boost, that kick, and you get real talkative, real jittery. It was kind of like that, but without the jitters, I felt so good, and I was talking up a storm. I was talking my butt off. But I don't remember anybody using their mouth. I don't remember that part. So they started talking. He's standing in front of us, the guy with the hair. I sense that he's the leader. He's the captain. Because no one else had facial hair. I didn't see, when I looked upstairs, there were more people upstairs, okay? So we're at the bottom. I didn't see anybody else that looked like him that had the facial hair. Judging off of his aura, his energy, he came off like he was the captain, okay? And so he's looking at me, but the women are talking to him. Check this part out, y'all. They were speaking English. I know what I heard, but I couldn't understand it. I could not, and I remember straining like, I couldn't understand. And then I thought, maybe they're not talking loud enough, and that's why I'm not understanding what they're saying, because I could hear it. And he's looking at me the whole time. Mind you, it said, they didn't tell me it was like a rule there. You can look, but do not stare. So, meaning you can look for a couple of seconds, but you need to look away before you look back. And he's looking at me. Remember, the other ladies looked away. I didn't. They looked away. And so when they turned their face, I just, turned my head. He's staring at me, and I'm staring at him. And he was handsome. Oh, God, he was handsome, you guys. And I didn't think nothing nasty, but I did think he was handsome. And as soon as that thought entered my mind, God, he's handsome, the first thing I noticed was the eyebrows. I study people. I don't just feel energy, but I read body language, all that. And in his eyes, I could see it was like he became upset. I could tell right away he did not like me. As soon as I thought, ooh, he's handsome, his eyes was disapproving. They turned, the eyebrows, all of it. And then, that's when I kind of backed up, like, my mind, like, I was like, oh, snap. And then the women in front of me, one of them kind of like did a gesture, like she touched me or something. And so now I'm just reading body language and feeling energy. And the woman that like kind of like put her hand on me, what I felt was like, leave her alone. She's okay. We got her. Don't. And then, but I'm still staring. I did glance at the lady, and I could see that they were very protective of me. And then I went back to him, and as soon as I looked back at him, it was like within seconds, that's when I split apart. And I'll never forget this in my life. I went to scream, y'all. You know how you see something that scares the hell out of you? It has to register in your mind first. Once it registers in your mind, that's when you the reaction comes. Some people don't even get the physical action because they become paralyzed with fear. But I was about to, because it registered, oh my God, they're not human. And before I could even get the scream out, I'm back in that room and I'm hanging upright, but they hit me even harder that second time. I thought the first time was rough coming up. That second time I was like, like I didn't even lift my head that quick. It was way slower. I get, I'm moaning, I'm making those sounds. And I didn't even get my head up this high. My head was like about right here. My son, he's like this instead of standing up because I can't get my head up. Whatever they was hitting us with, they hit me double whammy that time. He comes over and he's crunched down like this. And he's like right in my face. He goes, Mom, this is not a dream. And boom. Just like the first time, boom. I'm out there with them. Boom. I'm back in my bed. And I wake up. And I'm like, what the? And I felt the grogginess and everything, but it wasn't as strong, And I'm like, what the hell kind of dream was that? I don't know about you guys, but I have a habit of reaching for my phone when I wake up to look, to look at the time and stuff like that. It was only 3-something in the morning. I had only been asleep for 2 hours, and I'm thinking it's 6, 7 in the morning. Well, my blink system, like when the cameras are going off, it sends notifications. And I saw at the top, at the time, my Android phone, I have an iPhone now, but I pulled down like this because it was several notifications during the hours that I was asleep. But the last, it was like 8, 9 notifications from the last 20 minutes. So I pulled it down, and that's when I saw this light in my backyard that looked like an eyeball. These are screenshots of the video of that night. The only reason why I didn't do the video and like talk over like through the video, you guys, is because it's not 4K. YouTube, TikTok, they're literally rejecting my videos at this point. So anything that I captured with my Blink security camera, which is a 1080, like the system recognizes it's a 1080, and they shadow ban the video. Nobody can see it. But let me know in the comments, you guys, if y'all want me to do the actual video. And then the next picture showed where it went from, just a big eyeball. The next picture, I couldn't see my backyard. So I click on that notification to watch that clip. But instead of it taking me to the clip, it took, it would normally do, it took me to live camera. And so I was going to jump off like, no, I want to watch that clip. But then I was like, maybe maybe I should look for a second. If it's still out there, I can see my yard. Whatever it was gone. That was 15 minutes ago that happened. I'm sitting there about 2-3 minutes, and then I see what looks like, I'm going to call it a glowworm. Just flew over there, like a moth without its wings. And it's about 6 inches away from the park lamp. The light, excuse me. It's about 6 inches away. So say this is the light. It's like right here. It stops there. And then it freezes. That's the only way I know how to describe it. The whole scene, the whole picture on this video just freezes. And it looks like it cracks. No, that was the second time. Then it unpauses. Second time it freezes, the whole picture that I'm looking at cracks. I see lines through. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life. It unfreezes. It plays again for a second, then freezes again. And while this is happening, this light just starts to expand. Oh my God. So I get up. I go to the hallway. I'm beating on both of my son's doors. The only one that answers me is my youngest son. Now, mind you, my oldest son was with me. My youngest son comes out. I'm like, shh, look. And he's like, what the? Is this from earlier? I said, no, it's happening right now. And then I'm like, get up, get out here. Because it's something out there and it's coming. And I need my boys to be here with me in this hallway so we could be together. My oldest son never responded. And me and my youngest son, we just sat there crying. And why, once it fully opened, the front camera goes off? Not once, twice. It goes off the first time, and about 3 minutes later, it goes off again. They were bringing my son back, you guys. I believe the first time it happened, they were bringing me back. And the second time, they was bringing my son back. He has, and listen, after that second time the camera went off in the front, I say about a minute later, it started in the backyard, the light started to come back into that circle again. It was insane. That was it. Now you tell me what I saw was a dream. And okay, so if that was a dream I was having, then what the hell was happening in my backyard? And I still got the video. And I still got the pictures of it. The notifications from the camera and when I was on the camera. So what was that? That was a portal. That was not a dream. That was real. 2 weeks later, I see this looks like plasma, a spider web in my tree, like just shape-shifting. And I zoom in and I'm like staring at it. And then it looks like something stuck its head out. And I took a screenshot of it. And that's the picture I have of that creature. You can see his face. And what else do you see? A split. That was him. That was his real form right there. That was their real form. That's why I was not supposed to stare at them too long, because I would see their real form. I would love to know your thoughts. Share your comments. Share your thoughts in the comments, you guys. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you want to hear more stories.